Down with some of the stars of season 2 of Ted Lasso. Right now it's 9:12. We'll be right back right after the break.
(9:15) is the time right now. It's been a little more than 24 hours since Simone Biles shocked the world. The Olympic gymnast dropped out of the team and individual all-around competition, citing her mental health. And in the time since then, she's been the subject of both intense praise and intense criticism. Now, overnight, she thanked fans for their love and support, writing on Twitter that it has helped her realize that she is more than her gymnastics accomplishments, which she says she never truly believed before. So this morning, we wanted to take a closer look at this particular matter and this intense pressure on elite athletes and how it can affect them and why this could be an actual turning point in sports. So here to talk to us about this is someone very familiar with the scrutiny, the pressure, everything that's going on here. Olympic gold medalist Dominique Dawes, who is a Maryland native. Good morning to you, Dominique. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you as well.
All right. So let's start off talking about Simone Biles. Your reaction when she decided to actually pull out of the Olympics?
Oh, I was quite shocked. I didn't know why initially. I thought it was maybe because of a physical injury. The level of difficulty that she does in her moves is unreal. And if she were to be slightly off, she could definitely injure herself. When I heard it was more cited as mental health issues, and I read more about the mental block that she had gone through on the vault and as a part of the team competition, I then could personally relate. And I love the fact that this young 24-year-old woman, gymnast, could actually listen to her inner voice and do what was best for her and not listen to necessarily the outside noise that might have been pushing and pressuring her to stay competitive and in the game. I'm glad that she listened to what was best for her mentally as well as physically.
All right, you're very familiar with this situation. You're an Olympic gold medalist. You were very young at the time, and you were an African-American. You were a trailblazer, so it was coming at you from all different angles. Talk to me about the pressure and the scrutiny that you faced as a trailblazer back when you were in the Olympics.
There was a great deal of pressure at the 1992 Olympic trials in Baltimore, Maryland. I was the first African-American female gymnast to qualify to an Olympic Games. That was a great deal of pressure, and I was feeling physical pain. And then even following that, there was a selection committee process where they put people on the team and booted people off. And I remember going to sleep every single night worrying, are they going to take me off the team for some unknown reason? I was actually selected for the team, so I felt elated. Then for the 1996 Olympic Games, prior to marching out into the Georgia Dome of nearly 50,000 fans, I had an emotional breakdown. I was crying. I constantly cried throughout my career because it was too much emotionally on me. And I cried because of just feeling that weight of the world on my shoulders, knowing that I needed to help lead the squad to make history. And then for my final Olympic Games in 2000, Wisdom in Boston at the Olympic trials, after day one of the prelims, I was done. I told my coach, I told Muriel Grossfeld, I'm done. This is just too much for me, not only physically, but also emotionally. However, back then, as a gymnast, you really didn't have a say. You didn't always trust your inner voice. You didn't stand up for yourself. You couldn't make the final decision. It was very much a culture full of fear, intimidation, and silence and control. And so I persevered, I pushed through it, and I competed and made it to my third Olympic Games. But now as a 44-year-old mother of 4 young kids, I know that my 18-year journey in the sport of gymnastics is definitely not something that I want my 4 little ones to go through.
Which is one of the reasons you started your academy. How do we change this narrative? Because we're talking about elite athletes such as yourself, Simone Biles, and this can go across to any particular sport, actually. How do we change the narrative here? I mean, it's already changed because Simone Biles has done this. Naomi Osaka has done this and said that this is a mental health problem that we need to address here. So how do we change the narrative to where it's the critics are like, oh, my God, these are elite athletes. You're making a bunch of money. You're in the spotlight. Haven't you trained for this all your life? I don't understand what the problem is. Just get out there and do it. How do we change that narrative?
Exactly. Well, I think you open people's eyes to the full level of sacrifice and the commitment and the journey that it takes. I started the sport of gymnastics when I was 6 years old. I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning at a very young age and training many times 36 plus hours a week. Someone even came to me at the gym when I first opened and she said, I felt so bad for you as a child because you were clearly breaking child labor laws back then. I didn't know, I was just there. I thought doing something that I loved. But when I stepped out of the sport of gymnastics, you clearly realize there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of uncomfortability. There's a lot of control. And it's not a very healthy environment. I think the change happens when people truly see what these athletes go through. I'm the executive producer of a docuseries called Golden. LeBron James and Maverick Carter are also the executive producer. And I signed on to be a part of this docuseries to follow 5 Olympic gymnast hopefuls on their road to Tokyo. And what I wanted this to show is the full transparency of the level of sacrifice that these young kids, their families, and in some cases their coaches make to get a chance to try to make it to an Olympic team. I had a great amount of anxiety being a part of this. It took me back to my 18-year journey in the sport of gymnastics. And as I said in this docuseries, it's too much. It's not worth the level of sacrifice. And one thing that Michaela Skinner's mom said that I thought was genius, she said throughout her young daughter's career, she didn't know if they were going to make an athlete or break a person.
That's a very telling statement right there. Dominique Dawes, we appreciate you spending time with us this morning and giving us some insight into this. It's a very serious issue that needs to be addressed. So thank you for your time this morning. Take care of yourself.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, Steve.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good to hear from her, right? Get
That
that
last
inside
statement was
perspective.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. And obviously it's great to hear from somebody who has been there
Yep.
Right.
at one point in her career. Coming up next, why coffee prices are soaring. Rock and roll says goodbye to one of its most famous beers.